here's Brody Brazil.
So let's have a little fun with the website tankathon.com. Have you ever heard of this? It's a website that I didn't even realize existed. A's general manager David Force, back in baseball's winter meetings of 2022, he mentioned this website. I thought, does that really exist? Is that a thing? Absolutely it is. And it does a really good job, among other things, at simulating draft lottery odds for baseball, basketball, football, and in our case, the National Hockey League. So here you can see how the standings sit at the end of this regular season. Anaheim has the worst record. They lost their final 13 games in a row, 58 points. Ahead of them is Columbus. Ahead of them is Chicago. And here are the San Jose Sharks. They lost their final 6 games. They finished 82 games with 60 points, the 4th worst record in the league. I'll just reset this to make sure everything is how it should be. Watch me simulate the draft lottery odds, which, by the way, I made a totally separate video recently about how the lottery system works in the NHL. It's intricate. In fact, only the top 2 teams are selected with ping pong balls in order. Everybody else goes how they finished inverse with the regular season standings. But watch, we'll simulate this here and look at Chicago would get the number 1 pick. If this is the way it randomly worked out, they move up 2 spots. How about Ottawa, who moves up 10 spots? And they actually have a protected pick, 1 through 5, so they're in there. Anaheim moves down 2 spots. They are guaranteed a top 3 pick, so they get that 3rd and worst pick. Columbus at the 4th spot, and the Sharks moving down 1 spot at 5. Now, I'm going to take this video mostly from the Sharks' perspective. I guess the way to think about this is that I would be upset with them picking anywhere later than 4th. They finished 4th to last. And sure, this situation could happen, that they get worse odds to pick in where they finished. But I'd feel more fortunate if they were 1, 2, or 3. I guess I'd feel okay about them picking 4th, but I'd be a little upset if they picked 5th. Oh, I just ran the simulation again. Here they are, picking 5th again. This time you can see who got lucky. Arizona moved up 5 spots. Then Columbus, right where they should pick, 2nd overall. Anaheim got unlucky again, but they still get their top 3 pick. Chicago, then the Sharks, then Montreal. Okay, let's sim this again. By the way, you can see how addictive this website is. Oh, man. Now the Sharks are picking 6th overall? I mean, Pittsburgh jumped ahead. Arizona jumped ahead. Anaheim finally got their number 1 pick. Columbus and Chicago each down a spot. But, like, if this is the way it works out, aren't you kind of frustrated by this? Let's sim the lottery again here. Okay, Columbus leapfrogs Anaheim. Philadelphia moves up 5 spots. Are you noticing a trend here? The Sharks have yet to jump up and get lucky with a pick. Now they're picking 5th here. The Flyers getting super fortunate to be in that top 2. Oh, Vancouver and Detroit. 10 and 7 picks respectively is how high they jump in this simulation. And the Sharks would be selecting 6th overall. Now, are they still going to get a really good player there? Yeah. Do they have a later number 1 first round pick in 2023? Yes. But come on. These simulations are not working. Oh, I changed my mind. I take everything back that I just said. Finally got that number 1 pick. The Sharks, in this case, would move up 3 spots. Chicago moves up a spot. Anaheim still gets a top 3. And Columbus gets the 4th pick. So you are noticing that trend. Again, I mentioned it before. My other video explains why the Ducks, finishing last, are guaranteed a top 3 pick. The Sharks are not guaranteed anything. And that's kind of the frustration factor. Okay, I simmed it again. Sharks at 5th. Simmed it again. Okay, now, let's talk about this situation. The Sharks getting better than a 4th overall pick. I'm happy about that. Of course, everybody talks about the number 1 pick and Connor Bedard. But I think what I've realized after playing with this quite a bit, anywhere above the 4 spot, you have to be reasonably satisfied. You are ecstatic if it's the number 1 pick. It's a franchise-altering moment and opportunity. No question about that. But if they get the 2 or 3 pick, I should say, you got to be pumped up about that. If they pick 4th, it's a shoulder shrug. It's, It's one of those. If they pick 5th or later, then it's time to get a little bit frustrated. Let's sim this a couple more times. 6th overall. Montreal and St. Louis getting real lucky there. Arizona getting lucky. Pittsburgh leapfrogging the Sharks. I mean, look at this. A 91-point team in the Penguins picking ahead of a 60-point team in the Sharks. That'll get you right there. I mean, look at, in this case, Ottawa even at 86 points ahead of all these other teams. Just the way this randomness works. San Jose picking 5th overall in this one. Washington up 7 spots. Montreal up 4 spots. Montreal twice in a row winning the draft lottery at number 1 overall. So you can see how this plays out. You can see how this is very, very time consuming, but highly suggest it. Take a look at tankathon.com to simulate the draft lottery odds.